Man, if you told me a week ago that I'd be staring down a slick lakeside vacation spot plunked right on property I didn't even know was mine, I'd have laughed it off and dived back into sketching eco parks in my stuffy downtown cubicle. But that unexpected email from the Evergreen County Probate Office lands like a thunderclap, declaring me the sole heir to 140 acres of untouched waterfront from my elusive Uncle Elias, this weathered ex-Navy soul who'd faded into the backwoods long ago, dodging family ties like they were landmines, and suddenly I'm weaving north from the urban sprawl, lukewarm drive-through coffee in one hand, vintage rock blasting to cut the monotony, envisioning maybe a weathered shack, overgrown paths, perhaps a serene fishing spot where the water whispers secrets, only to veer onto suspiciously pristine gravel and slam to a halt at this polished enclave called Evergreen Shores Getaways. 6 upscale cabins with sprawling glass walls reflecting the pines, luxury SUVs lined up orderly in the lot, families unloading gear with carefree chatter, kids darting toward the shore with floaties in tow. That gut-wrenching epiphany crashing over me. Someone's brazenly commandeered my uncle's cherished haven, transforming his hard-earned refuge from wartime ghosts into a glossy moneymaker. The violation cutting to the core because Uncle Elias had staked that isolation as his lifeline, not fodder for some opportunist's scheme. It simmered in stages, like a pot coming to boil you can't ignore. That driveway too impeccably graded, those trendy solar lanterns too strategically placed, me creeping past the exclusive guests plaque, pulse quickening not with thrill but this creeping unease, fumbling for my phone to capture the evidence. The manicured fire circles, the artful boulder arrangements, even an EV charger hugging an ancient cedar, the freshly inked deed in my dashboard mocking the scene as outsiders sip wine on decks built on soil that should have stayed primal. Then she approaches, 50s sharp, jacket cinched like armor, tablet wielded as a scepter, high-end boots grinding the pebbles. Evelyn Thorpe, the self-crowned HOA matriarch with her sleek silver bob and gaze that could freeze lava, snapping, "This is restricted access, misdirected sightseers, the main road's that way." Me extending the documents with deliberate calm. "Actually, no error here. This entire spread's mine from Elias Caldwell, passed down legitimate." Her expression barely shifting as she dismisses. "Charming ploy. We've managed this haven 4 years running with airtight approvals. HOA governance, vacate or face escorts." Approvals on my terrain? That sparked a simmering outrage. The unfairness burrowing deep because I could almost hear Uncle's quiet resolve in the rustling leaves. His sanctuary from life's brutal edges desecrated by her expansionist hustle. Her impulses traced to that quintessential rural go-getter mentality. Perhaps a string of personal setbacks, failed ventures, lonely evenings, propelling her to claim and commodify the unclaimed HOA her veneer for dominating the disenfranchised. I reverse out deliberate, no fireworks, pull into a secluded turnout and ring the sheriff, tone even but gut-twisting, unauthorized encroachment, rogue constructions, outright larceny on my holdings. Restless in a budget motel that evening, thoughts spiraling on how she'd capitalized on his absence without a nod to bloodkin. Come first light, I trek in covert from the underbrush, drone humming discreet for high-def panoramas, the configurations, vehicle bays, her sculpted walkways, then latch onto an unprotected signal, dive in audacious control hub yielding treasures. Schedules crammed at $350 to $750 per evening, records detailing HOA levies rerouted to her coffers via improvements, that surge of triumph mingling with revulsion, her laxness a symptom of hubris, assuming no outsider would upend her domain. She messages for a rendezvous at a quaint eatery, me turning up vigilant, her cradling herbal brew all serene. "Ryan, quite the jolt, right? Yet I've revitalized this mire, grading, utilities, aesthetics galore, stash 40K off books, endorse continuity, claim 35% ongoing shares, mutual gain." Her beam as artificial as laminate, me retorting measured yet pointed. "Perused your ledgers, the diversions. You've netted 650K evasion free." her composure splintering to malice. Meddle further and you'll scorch. Residents shield their haven, departing unyielding, her warnings emanating from fragility. Maybe a history of fiscal ruin or relational voids inciting her to annex and exploit. HOA her apparatus for reigning over the unwitting. But here's the turn where I counterpunch savvy, shedding passive stance for tactical architect, that innate organizer's brain diagramming reprisals like metropolitan layouts. Recruited counsel, Mara Klein, a local bulldog renowned for dismantling encroachers who scrutinizes my dossier and hisses, audacious operator, time to dismantle, lodging injunctions and expulsions fortified by overviews, monetary traces, the ensemble. Chum Theo, design cohort from uni days with flair for cyber probes, secures lodging undercover as a Tacoma innovator, device capturing as Evelyn ushers him in polished, bypass the HOA tribute love, PayPal me personally for exclusives, pinning her on clandestine transactions, her cupidity unmasked, rationale unveiled, mending economic breaches from a bitter split or risky wagers, HOA her pretense for bilking the believers. Friction peaks as we survey with a district evaluator. 5 rugged types obstructing the entrance, foreman weathered and scowling. Your toxifying tranquility, urbanite, thrusting forceful enough to stagger me, yet I stand resolute, secreted camera eternalizing the aggression, Mara alerting authorities mid-fray, their dispersal akin to alarmed wildlife. Evelyn's dispatch proclaiming intruder menace, alertness advised to galvanize her adherents, her intensification from dread of downfall, that regime fracturing beneath examination. Blaze Eve secures it. Buzzer rouses me at midnight, Blaze Warden brusque, edifice incinerating on your estate, me dashing forth, sparks cavorting frantic, Evelyn in loungewear feigning dismay. Appalling fluke, her glance evasive, but my concealed thermal discloses verity, her outline hauling accelerant, saturating and kindling, that visceral perfidy lacerating, her immolation from ensnared anguish, opting for ruins over capitulation. Authorities shackle at daybreak. Pyromania, mendacity, the gamut, her protesting he orchestrated for pity. Collapsing beneath visuals, adjudication electrified as Mara exposes entirety, mallet resounding, proprietorship validated, retreats mine. Evelyn battered with indictments, $700K recouped. HOA penalized $100K for her looting. Her departing bowed, media besieging, contrition Evelyn. Her wordless evasion into a vehicle, that juncture salve as equity surges through me. Uncle's sanctuary redeemed. Revival streams akin to mending. Rechristened Cedar Ridge havens. Incinerated her emblems in a ceremonial pyre. Etched a novel insignia with Elias's antiquated implements. Sibling Nora assisting on hues. Debating luminaires amid melodies. Portal pristine with forthright principles. From pilferage to probity, no concealments, authentic respite. Revived autumn, premier pair beaming, caught the chronicle, compelled to experience, parting with missives and bourbon, that radiance restoring fissures. Inaugurated the Caldwell Fairness Coalition alongside Mara, advising HOA casualties region-wide, correspondences burgeoning from the defrauded, even conferring officials over luncheon fare, transmuting my tribulation into succor for the muted. Yet the resonance that lingers. Was Evelyn anomaly? Or do these HOA constructs nurture her ilk, cultivating despots from commonplace individuals pursuing structure amidst disarray? Contemplates if every advancement conceals a ruse. If this chronicle roused you, perchance your own domain dispute or HOA ordeal, voice in remarks. Triumph merited, or mechanisms tilted? Divulge your narratives, thumbs up if tenacity prevails, enroll for unpolished chronicles. And what's your judgment? Impartial skirmish, or manipulated in the hinterlands?